Okay, so I've got a very large amount of baked pepper meat, which I'm going to cut up and use. I have you did say a 6-inch.
Perfect. Oh, and it's all ready to go. Okay, that's great. I'm going to use a dummy because I was lazy to bake, and mine is not a 6-inch because I didn't have a 6-inch. Well, I did. I just don't know where it is. I couldn't find it.
Well, I've got a dummy. Would a dummy be easier?
No, because don't you want to finish off your cake?
It doesn't matter.
It's totally up to you.
Maybe I should use a dummy like you and then practice on that and then do my cake.
So what we're doing, let me just explain to you so that you know. So I'm going to do the sides and the top separately. So like before, we've always done it in one thing where you put it on and you smooth it out. We're going to do it differently because it's this kind of texture and everything. We're going to do the top and then we're going to do a strip that goes around the sides. So it doesn't really matter what you use.
Will that be okay?
Perfect. I think yours is the same size as mine.
That's what, an 8-inch or something?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, with the stupid lockdown, that's our war cry in this house. Everything, it's so difficult to go anywhere with all my children. I'm not even actually sure I'm technically allowed to drive with my whole family in the car.
Oh, no, you are, but you can't have your family around for tea.
No, you definitely can't have that.
But you can drive anywhere with your family. You know,
because for a while you were only allowed like 50% occupancy, and we are quite a big family, so we take up all the seats.
Well, you know.
So also they're not at school, you know, like first major problem in my life.
How are you coping with that?
No, terrible, horrendous.
Have you got the twins, eh?
Yeah, so they are 3, and their school they haven't been at school since March. Their school, I think, was possibly about to reopen, but I'd actually already decided to like withdraw them because mostly from a cost perspective. I'm not working, so I can't really afford to send them to school. And I also feel like I don't want to send my children to a school where the teacher can't give them a hug if they, you know, fall or something. Yeah. I know that sounds, you know, like Charlotte is older. She's fine. She doesn't need cuddles to recover, you know, but little ones, you know, there's a time when they just, I don't know. Yeah. So that's my
daughter-in-law is struggling as well because she works from home, and so
it's impossible.
My son has his own business, and they've had no income.
Yeah.
For must be 5 months.
Yeah.
Hers hasn't helped very much, I must say.
No, I've heard that is very difficult to claim, and yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, I don't have a smaller.
Fine. Just something for it to be on, so that you can, move it around. So I've got some double-sided tape, which I'm just going to stick mine down with. If you have something to stick it with, do. Otherwise, don't worry too much. It's just so it doesn't move around so much on the board.
I normally use what have I got? I've got double-sided tape.
That doesn't really matter. It's just if you've got a real cake, you don't have this problem. It's only because of the dummies.
Yeah, no, I know. At this point in time, everything's coming out the cupboard, so people are going to walk in here and look like a cyclone has been through here.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I was doing these classes from my desk, which is, you know, where my desk is, in the lounge there. But then every 5 minutes, there was some child screaming in the background. So now I'm doing them from Charlotte's bedroom.
Charlotte's bedroom?
Yeah, I don't know where. I'll show you. Let me show you around. So they are all like toys and things, and over there is their bed. So at least I can close the door in here, you see.
Yeah.
Keep the hordes out.
Well, I must say that actually got to try and pick my phone up and my thing up and go. I've got this cupboard. This is my part of my kitchen.
I can
So,
see and maybe part of your lounge there.
and my lounge is here.
Yeah, I can see that.
Myself is there. But the government gave me a fair amount of money back yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was part of that tax return.
Wow.
And I'm going to turn the computer so you can see my new toy. See it there next to the kettle?
It's a Kenwood I see there.
Yep.
Very nice.
Brand new, out the box. Still everything in its plastic wrapping.
Oh my word. I think it's a great investment. So my mom gave me a Kenwood when I graduated from Silwood. And it's still the same one I use. It's never given a day of problems. It just does its thing. It's great.
Yeah. Now I've still got my handheld Kenwood that I got 40 years ago.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's really saying something.
And it's still going strong.
Strong.
Makes
Yeah.
a noise, but it's 40 years old. It's entitled.
Okay, so before you get too stuck in with that kneading,
yeah,
so we're going to make this kind of cement concrete texture. I still don't know what the difference between cement and concrete is. I think one is sand. I still don't really know.
Don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of Tylo's. Do you have some Tylo's or CMC or whatever? This guy. Just put a little bit in your, I've got a little bowl here, but you can just do it on your surface.
Yeah.
So we're going to mix some color in there. You can put whatever color you like. I'm going to use gray because I love gray and it's cement. But black or any color you've got is fine. It doesn't really matter.
I've got gray. Hang on a second. I did find it earlier.
So the reason, okay, so I'm going to mix the color with the CMC and that is going to make it, where's the one that I did earlier? By the magic of television, here's one I did earlier. So what happens is that when you mix it with the CMC, it stays in these, I don't know if you can see them, in these little speckles.
Yeah.
So the color mixes with the CMC, then we mix it in and it stays speckly like that.
So how much do you use?
No, I don't know. You just bung some in. Just bung some in.
Okay. Let me find a bowl.
We are then going to knead it in. So if you want to do it straight on your surface, that's fine. It just maybe the color, you know. So ordinarily you wouldn't want speckles, obviously. The only reason we're doing speckles is because it's cement. But I have found, this is one of the things you find accidentally, when I put color and CMC and then the speckles came and the speckles never left.
And it seems to roll up in a little ball when you mix it.
Yeah.
I mean, you put it in.
Okay. Oopsie. So there's my rather, bits of gray and CMC. You also want to take, so what we want for this is your most disgusting dried out pieces of fondant. That's what you actually want to use for this. I know that sounds totally counterintuitive, but that's how you get the kind of cracked cement effect.
This is what they call elephant skin.
Even more than elephant skin, as like beyond, I don't know, into like woolly mammoth skin or something. I don't know. I really need to get out.
I can do this.
Yeah. So I've got about a half a kilo here. I don't even think you need that full amount. Because of the way we're doing it, the sides and the top, you have almost no leftover bits at the end. So the one that I did for the practice round, which I actually now don't even have here, was a bit stupid. I used the other half of this 1 kilo bag, and that was what was left. So you can just, I wouldn't say, don't mix more than a half a kilo.
Okay.
I think that's plenty. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of gray, and you really want leftover gray. Gray is not a great color to have left over. Actually,
I must tell you, I've used it quite a lot in the last little while. I've been making elephants and things.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well, in that case, mix as much gray as you feel like, you know.
That's
I just find that,
what mine looks like. Is that right?
yes, that's perfect. That's brilliant. Brilliant. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, oh, okay, we've lost, what happened here? There we go. Trying to make it so you can see everything I've got here. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm gonna just knead this a bit, and I'm gonna knead that in. I might knead in some more other color into this. I was thinking of like an ivory color, so like a beige color with gray speckles. That's what I have in my mind today, but whatever, it doesn't really matter.
I've got ivory. Would you just put that straight in?
So that's going to be the kind of background color. I'm going to work that in when I need this, and then I'm going to work that in as well.
Okay, so I must cut this in half, eh?
Is that a 3 kilo you had there?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
So
even,
that's about
even
half a kilo, huh?
okay, yeah, that's great. That looks about the same size as mine.
Okay.
Yeah. But as I say, you don't have to use ivory. You can just use the gray. Like this one, I just did gray. The background color was gray.
Yeah.
And gray speckles. I don't know. I just felt like doing something different today. But just do whatever floats your boat.
So what color is that you're doing there?
So I just put in ivory.
Ivory.
This guy here.
I've got it.
But otherwise, as I say, just use the gray that you had out.
I've got ivory. And I just put it straight into the...
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just going to mix that in, work it in.
Oh, I think I put too much and it's going to be quite dark. Okay.
I might actually just do this straight onto the table. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
One of the best things I ever did was revamp my kitchen.
Your kitchen is lovely. The tiles behind your stove are beautiful.
Do you like it? Thank you.
I do.
I bought those a couple of years ago when I originally did the refit on my kitchen. Well, it wasn't a refit. I just put in new cupboard doors and countertops. And I bought the tiles and I didn't have anyone to do this. So a friend of mine is using my garage as a workspace to run his business on because I can't get my car in there, you see. So he came and he was very kind and he brought in a tiler and he did my, I had the tiles already.
Oh, that's awesome.
They just tiled it for me. Okay, so is that what you're looking for?
Lovely.
It's
Lovely.
streaky. Does it have to be?
So that's the other thing. I don't think it matters if it's streaky because we're going to, I mean, it's meant to be kind of wild looking, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to leave mine streaky.
So, okay, so now you can take your powdered gray stuff. I'm just going to kind of stuck together. I'm just going to work it in. You can also add in some, oh, it's going to make it quite gray. The look of things. You can also add in some CMC at this stage if you want.
I've already got CMC in.
I don't know, you can add in more in if you want. You want this whole thing to be quite dry.
Oh, really?
A friend of mine sent me a picture of a cake with this kind of effect and she said, imagine if we'd done this 10 years ago, people would have said, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I must tell you, on my fridge, I've got Kerry Ann's cupcakes and hot milk recipes.
Cool.
Very dinged and very battered, but I use them.
You know, actually, speaking of that, I made some, but I haven't, just before lockdown, I haven't given them to anyone. I made some laminated ones and stuck a magnet on the back for people.
It's a very good idea.
But to put in their fridges. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's kind of,
Like that.
that looks great. That looks great. And I mean, you can work it more or less depending on how gray or how speckly or, you know, just look at it and see if it looks like stones to you.
Having so much fun.
This is definitely one of the wildest classes I've ever given, you know, like the most unusual.
I absolutely love it.
Okay. So in effort, just because, I don't know, if you have somewhere that you can put something to get really dry, like inside your oven or something, I don't. I'm just going to mix more CMC in with one small piece in an effort to make it really dry. So I have left this piece out from yesterday, but even that isn't that dry. What we want to see is like, I don't know if you can see this. I had thought this would be much harder by now. I guess the weather's not as hot as normal.
Well, the weather's quite damp.
I know. And
Have you guys got mist?
sorry?
Have you got mist out your way?
Not right now. Actually, the sun is shining. Actually, it looks a very nice day outside.
Okay, so I'm gonna add what I had a lot of CMC here, and it's, well, it's now got grey in it, so let's just throw it all.
That's fine.
The CMC's become my new best friend. I use it a lot when I'm making cupcakes and toppers and things.
Yes, I don't think you can work really with fondant without it if you're making anything modeled or shaped.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Okay. So this is my piece with the extra CMC. I'm going to kind of flatten it out and I'm going to leave it to dry while we do the other stuff.
Okay. All right, so.
Who knows how dry it will actually become. We're going to use a variety of methods to make it look super dinged up.
Different, yeah.
And I think there's a bit of trial and error. I have things that I prefer. But when I look on, when I look online, I see that there are people doing lots of different things. Okay. So that's my dough that I'm going to put to dry. Do you have any silicone molds?
What type of silicone mold?
Or any kind of flower or leaf cutter?
I do. I've got lots.
What you got? Show me what you got.
I can't. I have to pick up my computer and drag it all the way there.
Okay, no. Okay. Come back here then.
So, I took out a couple of little things. So I've got this, which I love. That's
That's going to be great for what we're about to do. Is it like a bubble one?
That. And I've got a whole lot of little cutters.
Brilliant. This is all great. Okay.
So we're going to do the bubbles.
Yeah, just hold on your bubbles for the right this minute, and we'll do the bubbles on the side, maybe.
Okay. So for the top.
I just want to make some kind of design elements. I don't know. I just use the things that I have. These are the things I have. I've got little roses, and this thing has various shapes. It doesn't really matter what you use.
I've got those.
So just something to make an embellishment of some variety.
Okay, I've got those. Hang on. I've got about 12 of these boxes full of stuff.
And everyone's like, well, what equipment do I need? I'm like, well, I don't know. We'll just use what you've got. It's fine. This online classes, it's a whole new world. And every time I think I've got it waxed, some new curveball comes. I sent all the recipes to a lady, and we were doing biscuits, like cookies, you know, with flooding royal icing. That looks great. I can't really see it, but it looks great.
I love, you see, now I do a lot of those. I sell a huge number of those sugar biscuits. Flooded sugar biscuits.
Yes.
Enormous amount of them. And especially over Easter and Christmas.
I was about to say, and Christmas, I'm sure you'll have a lot of orders.
Yeah, well, this last year wasn't so many because I actually wasn't in the space where I could do it. But this year, I lost my mom last year, so things are a little.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's really hard.
Well, fine now. But last year Christmas wasn't great. Okay, so you said brushes.
Yeah. Okay. Don't worry about the brushes for right this minute. Let's make some molded things. Just make a few things. You can Maizena in there, if that's helpful. And in fact, the Maizena everything. Just Maizena that piece that you put aside to dry. Maybe that'll help it dry out.
I love this mold. It's one of my favorites. It's got a scroll on it, and it's got a little brooch. It's got all sorts of things on it.
Yes, I like those where there's like a selection of things that you can make.
Yeah.
Okay. And now the other best thing about this is you don't need to mold these perfectly. You can just shape them, even if they've got, I can see your cat playing with something in the background.
That's my little girl. She's very sweet.
She's so cute.
She is beautiful. And she gets very twitchy with me at sort of 7 o'clock at night because we now have to go to bed.
When it starts to get cold, you mean?
Yeah, no, of course. Absolutely. No, hang on. I've got too much stuff in here.
Okay, so what I'm saying is you don't even need to make, you don't need to perfectly mold these. So if there's excess paste on there, it's fine. Just make a few. Because we're going to kind of blend that in. We're going to mush it into the whole process, which sounds so technical.
Fun. This is like the Play-Doh, you know, slime.
It's yeah, I quite like this whole look, actually. It's very low tech for me. It's like anyone can do it, you know.
You know what I like about it is it looks absolutely stunning. And I've got a wedding cake coming up where they want this effect. With
oh, awesome. Sorry, so just look here. I don't know. Can you see it?
Yes.
If you've got like a piece that's breaking off, I don't know, this piece, I squashed it now. Can you see how it's breaking?
Yeah.
That is desirable.
That's what we're looking for. Okay.
So the more kind of broken and dried, the better. Things I never thought I would be saying.
How's that?
That looks great. There we go. That looks great.
Well, we need a few of those.
Just a few. You can always make more and add them later, but just have a few so you've got something to work with. And it's also up to you if you want to put decorations on the side or just on the top or going down. It's up to you how you want it to be.
Gotcha.
And it's also, even if you mess it up or you don't like the way it looks, it's quite easy to change the way it looks.
You just squish it.
So just squish it around. So
I love this. Julie, thank you so much for doing this with me.
oh, it's my pleasure.
So
Yeah, I toyed with the idea of cancelling because it was, I had just one lady in the second class. Then I was then you booked and I was like, no, we must do it. Really
I actually thought it would be a very full class.
I was very lax about advertising. I was not organized. Things have been so chaotic. I don't know. It's impossible to get myself organized. So my children are, I love my children, but I'm about ready to leave them on the pavement.
Yeah, I think you and all the mothers will take time.
And every time I try it, so they're okay with me doing things like baking. They don't seem to mind that. But the minute I sit at my desk, they will like gouge each other's eyes out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you just know. So basically nothing ever gets done along the paperwork line. So then I was getting up at like 4 in to get it done. But, you know, that's not very sustainable either. You can only do that for a while. So
also, it's not very good for your marriage to get up.
Well, I mean, my marriage is not, I don't want to say my marriage is in the toilet because that sounds bad, but so my husband works very long hours in the week, especially. So he'll work most nights as well as days. And then the minute the weekend rocks around, I'm like, Zoom classes, do my baking, you know.
Yeah.
I think we need to organize a date night.
We need a date night.
A date night. Yeah, an at-home date night.
Yeah. Do you not have a willing grandparent?
No, we have nothing. We have no family here, which is a big drawback.
Well, every time my daughter-in-law talks to me, it's to come and babysit. Thank God for lockdown. I love my grandchildren.
I can't wait to be a granny. I think that must be the best. Then you can give them back, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't always work, eh?
Oh, really? Okay. I've made a few things. I'm not going to make a ton of stuff. I don't think that there's much to be gained from learning how to make a mold. If you really know how to use a mold, you know how to use a mold, you know.
Yeah. There. How's that?
That is great.
So I've got three things.
Do you want to make a few more? Or, yeah, maybe just make a couple more that you've got something to go with, and then you can always add on as we go. You'll see once we start doing it what I mean.
I'm not very fast, I must say.
Oh, don't stress. And I think we've got lots of time. I actually don't even know what the time is. That's the other problem. I can't tell the time on. Oh, there we go.
It's 9:53.
Yeah.
I live in a complex. There are 19 units. So I live in the only standalone unit. So I've got a garden and all the rest of it. The disadvantage, like you live next to the train line, I live next to a very busy road.
Oh, really?
So curfew has been amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, the train wasn't running for most of the lockdown, so it's been like so peaceful here.
Isn't it wonderful?
You're right, we've got to see the benefits for what they are.
Anyway, so in the complex, during lockdown, if I'd been left on my own during lockdown, I'd been in far more trouble than I am now. Because I live on my own. I've only got the cats and I couldn't get to my children in time. They live all the way out in Durbanville, and I work in Milnerton, and it's just not going to work. So there's a very nice they're not so young, they're in their 40s, couple who've kind of adopted me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we spend a huge amount of time together, but you know, we've been very naughty, and we kind of, she says it's quite funny, we've lived out of my booze cabinet. I had a very well stocked booze cabinet.
Add.
Yeah, no, it's the opposite word. So we lived, a lot of gin was drunk out of the booze cabinet, and the only thing I won't allow anyone to have is my really good whiskey and my good cognac, and certain of my liqueurs. You can't have them, sorry. And certain of my wines, certain of my red wines, nobody's allowed to touch until I'm ready for it. And of course, I am a collector of
there goes the train.
Anyway, so those are the things that nobody was allowed to touch, but we drank our way through. She said it was so funny. Every time I stuck my hand out, a bottle would come out.
That is amazing. We had no stash. We are not stashers, and then we were like so sad. Oh
no, but the second alcohol ban has caught me.
Yeah.
On the
unaware.
So I've gone and I've done the bootlegger thing. And, it's amazing. Lockdown's turned me into a criminal because I'm buying booze on the black market.
I was about to say, so my sister, don't repeat this. My sister's an advocate. So she really can't break the law. I don't think it's allowed. And my mother smokes. And so she's like organized these sort of black market cigarettes for my mother. And I was just like, oh my word. I never thought I would be here.
Well, let me show you something. On Thursday, I bought that. That's a 3-liter cask of wine.
I know.
I paid $200 for it.
Oh my word. And it would probably normally cost less than 100, I would guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just saying to my husband, because Charlotte asked, what are taxes? So I was like, well, the government is missing out on all this tax money from cigarettes and booze that they would have made a lot of money on. I don't know.
Julie, I've got a theory. If you look at the companies that have been, and the industries that have been banned, so your wine farms owned by white Afrikaans men, SAB primarily owned and run by white Afrikaans men, British Tobacco, white Afrikaans men.
Yeah, but they provide jobs for everybody. I mean, SAB, I don't know how many jobs they provide, but it must be thousands, many thousands.
Yeah, but that's, and you know, that's my theory. So the wine farms eat poo, but they're all owned by white Afrikaans men, basically. Yeah. Even if that's
I don't know. I feel like I can't go too far down the conspiracy theory hole because I'll never come out again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm a big conspiracy theorist.
Are you?
I'm happy to debate it with anyone. All right, I've got enough.
Have you got some stuff? Okay. Okay, let's oh sorry, I'm gonna start my head. Let's start on the actual cake. Well, the actual dummy.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna roll it directly on the surface here.
These are lovely. They actually, they really look grungy. I'm putting them on.
Grungy is good. Grungy is exactly what you want.
I'm putting them onto a board so that I can get them off my countertop.
Yes. Yeah, that's also what I've done. So then if you're using a dummy, just brush it with some water or something. I've got this piping gel, but whatever, just water will be fine. Just something to stick it on with.
I bought the Valco one. I didn't get a chance to go to Value Bake.
Well, that's the other thing is I feel like I don't want to send people on a mission, but to buy a bunch of things for a class, especially if you're working on a dummy, it really doesn't matter. Whatever you've got is fine.
Yeah.
You'll see, so the girl that's joining us for the chalkboard thing, she's also one of my sort of regulars, but she's moved to England. So it's quite cool, actually, like actually do a class for people in other countries. But all her stuff is still in transit. I don't know, it's probably lost in transit now.
Yeah, it's probably gone on its own road trip.
Yeah, so she texted me and she said, I can't get the white food coloring. What must I do? I was like, don't worry, we'll just improvise. So you know, we'll see.
I found this, which I rather liked.
Oh, that is awesome. I've never used that.
Well, I'm about to try it for the first time. So we'll see what it's like.
I love it.
All right, so I still haven't stuck that down, so let's just...
It doesn't really matter. It's not like you're going to be smoothing a lot either, so don't stress too much if it's not stuck down. I don't think it really matters.
You could use some buttercream.
If it was a real cake, you would use buttercream to stick your fondant on with, or you could brush it with water or gel or whatever. Yeah, you know the drill.
I do the ganache. I love ganache because it gives you a nice square, sharp edge.
So easy to work with. Yeah, I'm actually thinking, although it would increase the cost of my classes, which makes me a bit sad, but just using ganache in classes because the butter icing is quite soft and it's often bulging and people get frustrated. And
I can't stand that.
Perfect. The ganache always comes out perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so what are we doing now?
Okay, so now you're going to roll out a piece for the top. So just take a piece.
But that's us.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter because whatever's left over we can just cut off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
and just roll it out.
How thick do you make it?
Yeah, no, that's however you feel.
I've got those, you know, those rolling.
Oh, the rings.
The rings.
I would say on the 2 mil or 3 mil or whatever that is.
I'd use the yellow one, which is the 5 mil.
5 mil, yeah. I would say, Deb, if you're going to cover a cake the old school way, definitely the 5 mil. For this, you could go thinner because we're going to, you'll see.
The green ones.
Green ones. Okay.
They the thinner ones.
Oh la la, mine is really stuck. So just put a bit of
Yeah.
Maizena down if you are getting stuck like me.
My cats, when I've finished with this, they come and they take great pleasure in walking everything. And I get chocolate or cocoa, and I get Maizena and all sorts of
My cats, well, so the very first time I did the Zoom class, it was like a test run, and the dog came up and ate a biscuit off the side where I was working. And this dog, he's like a rescue. We just got him just before lockdown, and he obviously has had the crappiest life ever. So if you say anything to him, he cowers like you've beaten him. Yeah. So now he's on this video like cowering and yelping, and I'm like, I didn't touch him, I promise. Then 2 minutes later, the cat came and lay down on the biscuits because there was a cloth on top, and I was like, oh my God. And then walking across the screen, I was like, how am I supposed to be professional?
You know what I like? I like the fact that you are quite normal. I can't stand you precious. I hate precious people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so don't be shy if it's not exactly fitting on the top there. Mine is a bit of a strange shape and size. It's never going to fit on there, but I'm going to join pieces together. We want to kind of bang it up and bash it up a bit. So take your Maizena and like just let it sort of crust a bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do.
You want to get that kind of elephant skin cracking. Okay.
Now mine's come out a bit.
I don't know. For me, it's very moist in here. I'm not getting a lot of drying, even though I've left it now. It doesn't really matter.
Maybe we should write to PME and say, listen, your CMC doesn't work that well.
I just think, I think if we left it for longer, it would be easier. Because so here's this piece that I left out earlier. You can see that's starting to get the right.
Yeah.
You can see that kind of a cracky look. Okay, so take your piece and stick it onto your cake. Or actually, no, do this on the surface of it first. Let's make it. So I've got some sugar here.
Yeah.
Just granulated sugar.
Does it matter the color?
No, whatever you've got is fine.
I've got brown.
Brown is great. It'll go nicely with the
beige.
The beige. It doesn't really stay on there, although the brown might leave a little bit of color. Just scoop some on, a spoonful. Yeah. And then just rub over it, or use your smoother to press it in. Can you see the kind of, I don't know, I doubt you can see this on my video, but it gives it like this little indent texture. Are you getting that?
Bang it.
Bang it. Or rub it. I think rubbing it, well, actually rubbing does work.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can also do tin foil. So this is a piece of scrumpled up tin foil.
I do have that.
You can bash that in.
That's a good idea.
That also gives it quite a cool texture. I don't know. I think I still like the sugar better because it looks like the sand, I guess. I don't know. Whatever you've got, just improvise, you know. Go crazy. It's that kind of thing.
Got in your house.
Sorry?
Use the stuff that you got in your house.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that looks fabulous. Look, I've got
it looks
that.
Cool. Hey?
Oh, I like that.
You could also use this is a veining tool. You can use that to like poke, scratch. So sometimes I don't really know anything about house building, but when you look on the side of these buildings, they've used like a scraper to smear it on. and it leaves these little stripe trails where there was a sand grain or something. So you can make like scratched in
look.
Whatever. Yeah, just go wild. Okay, and then you're going to take that piece. Oh, I've now broken it completely, but that's actually quite a good thing. And stick it onto your, oopsie, top of your cake.
You put the sugar still on it.
The sugar, I think we'll just dust off a bit. If it's stuck in, just leave it on. But
my ball's got a bit dry. There we go.
Dry is good. Dry is a good thing.
No, not the dummy has got a bit dry.
You know, again, it's not like we're going to be putting this on display for weeks afterwards, or maybe we are. I don't know. But you know, if it doesn't stick perfectly, I don't think it really matters for the purposes of a dummy. You know, it's more about the learning process rather than.
Oh, I love that texture. It's so lekker.
Okay. Oh, I've got seams all over me.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that.
We can also last much.
Can you see that? Let me show you. Can you see that?
Oh, that is perfect. That is exactly right.
Computer. Okay.
Okay. I've totally lost my train of thought. Okay. Anyway, so you want to cover the top of your cake with the various. You can see mine's broken into a whole bunch of pieces. So I'm just overlapping them to fill it in. You can see that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you wouldn't want any cake sticking out. And if you've overlapped, just use your smoother to squash it down. You can use your fingers, whatever you've got. It's, as I say, it's very wild.
Go look a bit donut.
Oh, I know what I was going to show you. Sorry. Okay, another thing you could do is if you, so in a minute, we're going to paint with gold. So I'm just going to mix some gold. Did I bring the essence? I'm just going to mix some gold paint and leave a piece to dry. I just want to show you what happens. So I'm sure you've probably seen this effect, but I don't really know what it's called. But it comes out looking sort of like leather.
Oh, that's plating effect.
So basically I'm just going to paint over this piece with gold and then leave it to dry completely. Okay, that's not enough gold. And then I'm going to roll over it again with the rolling pin, and the gold should crack into like a crackle kind of effect.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It does. I just
makes a huge amount of sense. Just sorry, I don't have any here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm even going to actually use it. I just want to leave it to dry so long so that I can show it to you. Okay, so I've just painted it with some gold. I haven't done it very perfectly either. I'm just going to leave it over there to dry for a bit. Okay.
Okay, right. So now I'll put this on and it's got pieces hanging over the edge. Do you want me to trim it?
Yeah, so take a knife and just go around the edge like this, just to trim it off.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And again, doesn't need to be perfect. You can use these offcuts if you've got like a stretched piece. You can bang that back on again. It's all very forgiving. In fact,
you know,
I feel like this is my power animal technique, you know? Like, where has this technique been my whole life?
But Judy, I must tell you, I'm actually struggling to make it look sort of ongeplakt because I'm so used to doing everything neatly.
Perfectly. I know that's exactly what happened to me. The first time I did it, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Yeah. What am I doing?
Oh, dear.
It's good for us though to let that perfectionism go a bit, I think.
Let it go.
Oh God, and children's television is set to drive me to drink. If there was drink that.
If you can.
My children are very into Paw Patrol.
Yeah, and Bubble Guppy. I like Bubble Guppies. I must say. I do
Bubble
like
Guppies has nice music. They're over Bubble Guppies. I don't want to watch it anymore, even though I keep suggesting it.
Well, at the moment, we're doing the Elsa thing.
Oh, you're in that phase.
We're in Elsa and we're in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Because the little one loves Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So I've got to make a 2-tier Mickey Mouse cake for the birthday in September with Toodles.
Oh, Toodles!
Yes. I've never heard of Toodles.
Oh, Toodles! You better use me. My
Okay.
poor children, they don't even get cakes anymore. Charlotte's birthday was an online birthday, and we made cupcakes. So she had like one cupcake. It's quite sad, really.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you what we're doing next, and we'll, yeah. So take your, hang on, let me just move this so it's more over the cake. Can you see that?
Yes.
Getting everything lined up is not my best thing either. So you can take your things that you've made. So this is just a thing. And again, I would just be quite random about it. Don't overthink it. Having said that, though, depending on what your finished plan is, you might want to sort of cluster your embellishments maybe in like a half moon shape or something, if you're going to have something else on the other side, you know, flowers or whatever it is. And then you can use like the back of a paintbrush or this, I'm a big fan of the veining tool.
I love
just
it.
to sort of mash it in and kind of
Get the edge in. But do you paint it with the sticky stuff first?
You can, but actually if you're mashing it in, it doesn't really matter. And again, don't worry if there are weird lines or, you know, it's all part of this whole effect.
I've really got to get used to not. Can I show
So
you? Look at that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Has
Is that a clay one?
Eh?
Is that from the like the art shop?
No, I got that. I got given that when I was a young girl by my aunt.
Because those kind you don't really, I was gonna say, you don't really get them at the cake shops. You can get them sometimes at the art shop.
I bought that. Well, she bought that and gave it to me at from Sugar Art Shop in Joburg 40 years ago.
What's that place called? Chefs and Ices.
Yeah.
I think it's still there actually. I'm not sure.
They are. They're in Sandton.
Yeah.
They used to be in Rissig Street.
Oh wow. They've come away.
They're out. Sorry, we have a visiting cat. My little girl doesn't like him.
Okay, so you can group them however you feel that they will look attractive.
Okay.
And we're also what we're also gonna do, probably last thing, is dust over the whole thing with some colored dust, gray or brown or gold even, just to highlight the dings and the whatever. So just have that in your mind. And you can also use your finger. So I find sometimes, you know, I've made it too stripy, then just rub it with your finger. But as I say, it's all very forgiving. It's exactly like
that. Ooh. Like that.
Yes, that's lovely. I love that.
Okay.
Are you happy with the way it's looking?
Well, yeah, you know, I kind of just mash it all in.
Just mash it all in?
It's not stuck with the edible glue. I've just pushed it on.
I think if you mash it in, it will be fine. If you feel like it's going to come off, stick it on. But I find with the glue, then sometimes I get oozing and then it all gets a bit sticky. So I think just use your finger or your veiner or your something and just push it on. I think that's more than enough to hold it. I don't think you need to worry about the glue.
I love it. This is so this is cool.
It's cool, hey?
I love it. Oh, Julie, you make things such fun.
Oh, good. That's not what my children are saying. They think I'm dragon mommy.
But that's your job in life. You have 2 jobs in life. One is to be a dragon and the other one is to embarrass them.
Oh, I love to do that. They don't love that either, though.
Yeah, that's your job in life. When you become and to say, no, you can't have this and that and the other. And let me tell you, my daughter was so funny. She looks at me and she says, you're the worst grandparent. I said, what? I thought I was actually quite good. She said, yeah, that's the problem.
So I don't know if you've seen them, all these like little memes. It's like my mom as a mom.
Yes.
We have fruit at home. Just eat a fruit from the fruit bowl, whatever. And then it's like my mom as a granny. Yes, here's some Smarties, darling.
Yeah. And would you like that bread cut in circles or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one rule though. If you talk to me, take the dummy out your mouth.
Oh la la. No, dummies were never a feature here. My children didn't get into it.
Oh.
So we never had that, thank goodness, because you know there comes a point where they have to outgrow it. You can't take it away. It's become a soothing object or whatever. So you know, if they get past age whatever, you've got to wait till they're like age 5 or I don't know, whatever they say.
Well, I think we're heading that way with the oldest one because she's
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think it's just an outgrow thing, and they do. I don't think you need to worry.
well,
They don't go to university with their dummies in.
sucking a thumb.
Well, what do they say? At least you can take the dummy away. You can't chop their thumb off.
That's it.
Okay.
So I know. There. That's just for the moment.
Okay. I'm going to carry on. You can always, oh, that looks stunning. I love that. So you can add more, whatever, as you go. Let's just, I just want to carry on. I don't want to end up with, we're not doing the sides, you know.
Yeah, let's do the sides.
Do the sides. Okay. So if you're going to use your bubble one, I don't have anything exactly like that. So I'm just going to roll out a strip, but you're going to roll your strip onto the bubble thing.
Okay. But how wide do I need?
Again, doesn't really matter because you can just cut it off and blend it in.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay, so can you, oh, what's happening here? Can we just go there? So just roll out a strip. And again, it's if you're using it with a rolling pin, it's difficult to get it super textured at this stage. But if you're rolling it over, say, the mold, then it will just be in that shape. But just roll it into the kind of vague shape first and then roll it straight over onto the bubble thing. So if this was your bubble thing, obviously mine is not bubble shape, but just pop it on there and roll it over.
Like that?
Yes, that's great. That's great. And again, I would say you don't need it to be 100% uniform in thickness or in the imprint,
Yeah.
unless you want it like that. Let it be a little bit wild.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters much.
So now I don't cut anything, huh? How many?
So I would just cut the bottom where it's going to fit onto the board. Just that you've got the straight stripe there at the bottom, so that when you put it on the board, you don't have any cake peeping out. The rest you can fix with shaping, I think. Okay.
This
Let me just see if I can. I could show the side better. Oopsie.
Mine isn't actually wide enough. Oh, good.
Okay. Okay, so here's my piece, my strip.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to stick it on the side.
Oh, you see, yours is bigger than mine.
Is yours not wide enough?
No, look. Ooh. Sorry.
Yeah, can you make it a little bit wider?
I can, absolutely.
Or you can just do it in sections. So you can just do, is this part here? So let's say, there we go. So let's say you've got a bit like that. You just take another piece, especially if it's a pulled dried edge like that, maybe put that on top because that's more what we want, and just join pieces together like that.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm just trying to get my sides mostly covered, and then I'm going to kind of texture them more. I would say in general, you don't want, obviously you don't want any undercake showing. No. Definitely not any dummy. If this was,
I think that cake I had was a bit too high.
Yeah, maybe. I think those molds are supposed to be continuous, that if you pushed it in next to each other, it would, the pattern would be continuous.
It would. But I've got a plan. I work for architects, I've got a plan.
Do you work for architects? I didn't know that.
No, I used to, many years ago. To Bentel Abramson, you know, the people who built Canal Walk and who generally have put complexes all over the world. Why would one need a shopping complex?
I know, and now what is the most redundant thing in the world? A shopping complex right now. My husband, he used to work for an architect. He was a draftsman, well, technologist, whatever, before he was in IT. So,
well, I have a very good friend who works for Rebel Fox.
Oh wow, also quite a.
And they do more schools and things.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She's quite an intimidating lady, actually. She's the perfect type. She heard me say that. She's an exceptional paddler. So, look what I'm doing. Look at that. Julie, look at that.
That looks awesome. Don't drop it now.
I feel like a girl. I'm having such fun. Oh, I love this. Oh, this is fun. The glee.
The glee.
The glee. Okay, so we wet the sides the same as we would.
Just so that it can stick on. You could actually paste your you could wet the back of your fondant if it was easier. Doesn't really matter. Just so it doesn't fall off.
Oh, I'm having so much fun. I love doing creative stuff. I lost my job last year.
Oh man, it seems like you had a bit of a rough time there.
I've had a terrible 2 years. What they did was I still work for Mediclinic, but they've restructured all the HR departments. So what they did, and I think it was, what year did I come to you? It was 2018, huh?
Yeah, is it really as long ago? It probably was, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the year I came to you, and that I had just discovered when I came to the course
that you'd lost your.
I was on the shortlist to be.
Yes, I actually do recall that.
Not retrenched, but I was going to be part of the fallout.
Yes,
so we had to do a what do you call it, a skills test. But because I don't have a formal HR degree, it didn't mean anything. And the job went to my colleague, who was, is obviously the correct color and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And had the diploma, which I didn't have. I only had a 1-year diploma, not a degree. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, I ended up now doing I'm an extra coordinator, which means that I find staff, temporary staff, to come and work. And this last year has been an absolute eye-opener because I'm hated by everybody. I've gone
Oh, really?
A light person, being absolutely everybody hates me person.
Oh.
I find it very hard. I've really found it very hard. So lockdown happens, and I'm sent home because the corona was making its presence felt, and they didn't want me to be involved because I've got two disadvantages. One is I have a high blood pressure, and the other one is I'm over 50.
I was about to say, these days, yeah.
So my age does, from that point of view, was counting against me, for which I was very grateful. So I get sent home. I'm probably the healthiest person in the entire complex. All the youngsters are getting sick except me. And I work in a hospital. So they then decided they didn't want any more staff, and I was not needed. So they sent me off on leave, which I was very annoyed about. I liked being on leave, but I didn't like the fact that I had to lose leave to be on leave. Anyway, and then came back, and when we went through, the Western Cape went through its peak, we were so busy, we couldn't find staff, not for love nor money. So you hate it there again, you see. Now I'm working in an admin office, which is far more fun. There's people around me. It's wonderful.
Right.
We're not picking staff. And doing this creative stuff has been my lifesaver.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone on that either. I think a lot of people have, for lots of reasons, felt the need to do something, have an outlet outside of whatever horror might be happening in their lives.
It's been horrific.
Wow, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm glad that things are looking up, but
But you know what? As they say now, God is good. And I am still employed, which is good.
That is good.
Yep. I plan to be employed until I turn 60, and then I'm going to take my sandwiches and I'm going to go.
Yeah. I don't actually, I have no retirement plan. So I keep telling my children they have to become like plastic surgeons or something, Anyway.
I've tried that with my children, and they both looked at me and said, Mom, you need to make a plan for yourself. You're not supporting me.
Totally. I mean, they're totally right, of course.
Well, my son and his wife have now decided that I have to go and live with them. I drive them insane. I would absolutely be the worst thing ever.
I don't know. My mother-in-law lived with us for a while, and it was disaster.
No, I wouldn't do it.
Disaster. Okay, it is actually 10:30, and I need to tidy up so that I can do the next thing. But let me just finish off what I'm sort of saying here. I also need to go and get more coffee.
Yes, that's a good idea.
That is going to happen. Okay, so I don't know if you can.
I can log in again, do I?
So I think I sent you 2 links. I can resend it to your WhatsApp. So I'm going to do it on the second link. What is happening? Somebody's trying to call me. This is not a good time, people. He's trying to call me. So I'm going to send you the second link. Oh, no, you should have the second link. Just click on that. I think I might actually just set it up straight away so that we can have continuity. And then when Candice is ready to join, she can, she can join whenever she's ready. As I said, I just need to tidy up and sort of reset a bit here. But before I end off with this, I just want to show you what I've done here. Okay, so this piece here, I don't know how well you can see it. It actually looks terrible in the picture. This was the piece that I had dried out. I don't know if you can see. So it's got good amount of elephant skin, which kind of creates that texture a bit. But I don't know, I'm still liking the sugar the best. Out of all the things I did, I find the sugar the nicest for me. So here, I stuck it over another piece underneath. It is too bulgy. So I think if you're doing that, cut away what's underneath. So I'm just, actually, let me just, and then normally if it was not a whole texture, oh, look, it's stunning. Looks stunning. If it was not a textured effect, I would just put two clean cuts next to each other and smooth over with my smoother a bit. Where the edge is here at the top. So if you've got overlapping bits, you can leave them if you like them, or you can push them down and sort of mush them in, or you can cut them off completely to make a kind of an edge, and then you can just smooth that together a bit. You could use a smoother bit, or you could just use your finger or your tool or whatever.
Okay.
Then
I tell you what, let me finish this, and then I'm going to show you. You go and set up for the next class.
Yes.
And then I'll show you what I've done.
Awesome. Oh, and the other thing I was going to show you, I mean, I don't think Candice will mind if we go for a bit of a tangent. I just don't want to leave her stranded. The other thing, if you want to, you can dust with, so this is a brown dust. If you dust over it, it kind of highlights where the texture is. I don't know, the brown for me was a bit extreme when I did my little test run. It does highlight it, sorry. But I feel like the brown is too dark in color. So maybe with like a silver or even the gold, I don't know.
I tried to find a pale gray, but you can't find it at the moment.
No. So I think if you want to make a pale gray dust, you can use this white, where am I? White powder and mix it with the slightly darker color.
Yeah.
To make it like a paler color. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that looks a bit better.
Yeah.
Just to highlight those little indents a bit. But you don't want to make the whole cake brown either, or gray or whatever.
Yeah. What I thought of, Julie, was using some silver. I've got that sort of iron gray silver color.
That's stunning. That's stunning. You can also, let's just go, I just want to zoom in a bit more on the top here. So there's my texture that I made.
That looks brilliant.
You can also either dust it, and I hope like chunk falling off the side here. It looks brilliant.
I love it. I think it's brilliant.
This you can dust this with gold, but I found that made everything gold.
Yeah.
I would say just with a kind of a sort of a watered down gold paint, just if you want the gold look, just highlight it here and there.
Or even with a little bit of gold powder.
So the powder went everywhere.
Oh.
And then I ended up with my whole thing looking flippin' gold, and I was so cross because I ruined the effect I was going for. So yes, if you I think maybe with a small brush, if you're just using the powder. Let me just see what it does. Because as I say, when I did it, I got it everywhere, and I was so cross with myself because I messed up what I had thought was looking quite nice. So yeah, actually the powder works well. The powder is much more subtle. I don't know if you can even see these subtleties on the video, but
you can.
But don't, unless you want your whole cake to be gold, don't go in with a big brush like this.
No.
And the gold, because then you're going to end up with what I had, which was basically a gold cake.
Nah, I don't want a gold cake.
But then, to be honest, I didn't like the way it looked, and then I just took my veiner and I just mashed it up and mixed the gold in, and in the end, she looked fine. But yeah. Okay, so you finish off with what you're doing. I'm actually gonna just hang up on you now. And then I'm gonna set up the next video thing so that we can all join. Okay.
Now, tell me, what do you think, before you hang up, how's that?
I love it.
Look, all right.
Are you happy with it?
I think it's great.
It's awesome. It looks awesome from here.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, I'll see you now. I don't actually know how to hang up here. The end meeting.